I will ask you one question. Answer me. And I will tell you by what authority I do these things. Was the baptism of John from heaven or from man? Answer me. I want to answer the question the priest wouldn't answer. But that's, Jesus is the authority. I know you guys are stunned by that information, but Jesus is the authority, okay? So we have that mystery out of the way. But what authority does Jesus actually have? Do what? Well, he's sent by the Father, but I would say his authority, and that you could go with that, but the authority that Jesus is, he is God. He is the creator. Like it or not, he spun this world into existence, did all the stuff, whatever it was. He tells us how he did it in Genesis. That's a really interesting passage back there. He is the Savior. So what authority does Jesus have? Well, all authority, isn't it? If you build something, if you make something, then you have the authority over that unless you get rid of it. But he didn't do that. It was still his creation. It still is his creation. God put this world together, put us on it, and it's his. So we just go, okay, well, then he has the ultimate and the all authority. And say, okay, well, that's easy enough. But they're asking him, by what authority do you have? And that's, again, challenging him because he has been already claiming to be God. When he says, I am, and then insert the next part of that passage, I am the bread of life, I am the living water, I am the ego eimi statement. If you take it to your Greek for a second, the ego eimi, the I am, he is replicating what you see at the bush that was burning but not being consumed that Moses ran into as he was on the backside of the desert. Who do I say sent me? I am has sent you. Okay. So I am has sent. Okay, so I am is God. And the Jews at that time understood that. The Jews now understand that his proclamation of saying I am, he's saying he's God. And when he was questioned by people, he would tell them, yeah, I am God. It wasn't until recently in our passages that we've been reading that we see that he actually took praise and worship from people. And that was on the triumphal entry that we saw, I guess it'd be earlier in this chapter. I was going to say last chapter, but it's still the same chapter. It's not that he denies who he is. He knows who he is. And the chief priests, they don't want to know who he is because if they know that that's the case, it causes them to be in a bad spot. But the question is an amazing question. And it's a simple, you think, well, this is such an easy question. Was the baptism of John from heaven or from man? Well, the reality is there's implications to that. How do they answer? They couldn't go with the obvious because, that would make them look bad. So looking now at the rest of that passage in verse 31, it says, and they discussed it with one another, saying, if we say from heaven, he will say, why then did you not believe him? But if we shall say from man, see, they were afraid of the people, for they all held that John was really a prophet. So they answered Jesus, we do not know. And Jesus said to them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. They knew what the proper answer was. Now, Jesus wasn't manipulating. Okay, I want to say that before I say what I'm about to say. Jesus wasn't doing something like that to cause manipulation, weird things or whatever. He was asking a very specific question that there was one answer to.